All right, so fun thing, we've been teaching each day this week. I want to teach from the life of a man or a woman who's very, very successful, but all you know about largely is their success, and you think at times that they're so successful, they're so different from us, but they're not. They might have more zeros in their bank account than you. More people may know their name, but they're not different from you. And so I teased it at the top, how a female billionaire spanked rejection. So some of you figured out who I'm talking about. I've had the pleasure of interviewing her and her husband, so I know them. Really great people. Her name is Sarah Blakely. One of the first female billionaires, certainly the youngest female billionaire in history. She is the founder and CEO of a brand called Spanx. Guys, if you don't know what it is, your wife or girlfriend does. They'll tell you about it. And the story goes, what you don't know about her journey is that she was on a path to become a lawyer, but she scored low on the LSAT, which is the law school entrance exam. Scored low. And as a result, felt like, this isn't my jam. Now listen to a couple parts of the story. This is one. She realizes, I'm not very good at this. I'm not going to beat my head up against the wall to try to get a status job and a status career that everybody will think is impressive. I'm going to go a different direction. Great choice. She then moves on and she's beginning to wander a bit, goes through several dead ends, several failures. She finally gets a job as a salesperson, and she was wearing hose. Well, the story is really awesome, but she realized one day that she had an outfit on that she felt like she needed some more support, ladies, underneath the old pantsuit. And so because she had been wearing hose, she realized I could cut off the bottom of the hose and wear it underneath the pants. It'll give me that little extra support that I want. And it worked, and it became an idea. She was like, this is an idea. But some of you are going, well, that's brilliant. Of course it's brilliant. Nobody else thought it was brilliant but her. And then she started telling some friends about it, some other people, some other ladies, and they're like, this is brilliant. So what does she do? She drives to North Carolina, where a lot of the hosiery mills are in the United States. And she starts going around, knocking on doors, if you will, at these manufacturing places. And she's pitching her idea. She was turned away by everybody. Everybody was like, you got to be kidding me. More rejection. 2 weeks later, she gets a call from one of the male mill operators who took the idea back to his daughters, and they were like, Dad, that's brilliant. So he listens to his daughters, calls Sarah Blakely and says, let's talk. She went through several different iterations and a lot of failure just trying. She just got one dude to go, all right, I'll produce what you bring to me. But then she had to actually produce it with him and work through it and test it. So much failure in that process for her. She never went to business school, never took a business class. She just figured out that there was a problem that she had. She came up with a homespun personal solution to it and thought, bet there's a better way to do this to solve a problem that I had for a lot of other women. Now she's a billionaire. But here's what I want you to hear. She's only a billionaire because she first decided to take her idea to somebody. She had the guts to just drive to North Carolina, no appointments, and start knocking on doors. Then she had the guts to not quit and keep going, keep staying with it. In that 2-week period, she didn't shut the idea down. She didn't say, nope, that's it. She could have. When that mill operator called and said, hey, my daughters think this is a great idea. I'm willing to help you create this. She could have said, you know what? It's a stupid idea. Thanks for calling. I'm going to do something else. She didn't. And I don't have time to break down the story of how she eventually got it into Neiman Marcus and some of the crazy, gutsy things she did. She put herself out there to be rejected. She faced rejection. She didn't quit. Then she had to go to all these department stores, and she kept getting rejected there and finally got Neiman Marcus to do it, but she had to put herself way out on the end of the diving board. Some of you aren't doing what you know you're supposed to do simply because you don't want to face the sting of rejection. And I got news for you. Sarah Blakely had to eat rejection morning, noon, and night, then put ketchup on it. Whatever she had to put on it, she had to keep eating it because there was no way to success without rejection. Don't think for 1 second that your idea, your dream is a complete moonshot and that you're going to need a miracle to get there. You keep thinking that way, you will act that way, and you will sit on it until your dying day. But if you refuse to be deterred and discouraged by rejection, you'll get there. Don't think that you're alone. You're the only person with a big idea. These men and women that we talk about, they didn't get there because they're better than you. They got there because they're more stubborn than you. You need some good old-fashioned stubbornness. I will not quit. That's where success begins, and we don't even see it. But it is the seed of success when we say, I believe it must be done, and I'm supposed to do it, and no matter what anybody says, I am going to try it, and I'm going to learn from that, and I will let my effort determine my direction. I will let my effort determine my investment, not what other people think and not what other people say, which, by the way, when we're worried about what other people think and say, I got news for you. That's all in your head. They got their own issues. If you think they're walking around thinking about how the Ken Coleman Show is going to succeed or fail, you've lost your ever-loving mind. They don't care. They get their own stuff. Stop worrying about what everybody else thinks and says. What do you believe? What do you say? I would tell you that in my life, and probably in your life, the number one voice you have to be careful of is your own voice, because it's the one you hear the most. So I hope that encourages you today, because it encourages me.